it's Shel C from Paper Octio Studio. I hope everyone's enjoying the hashtag event for Creative Arts Collaboration, hashtag Color of the Year Art. There's tons of stuff to watch, and I hope you're all watching it and giving all those people love. This is a sharing of my journal page that I made using the prompt from Color Me Positive. I'm trying to do these every week, and I had a couple different things I needed to do. One of them was to do something for the creative arts collaboration, and the other one was to do my prompt for week 3. So the prompt had to do with using song lyrics and also just making your life awesome, being positive. And I happen to be listening to a song at the moment, and so I decided to use those lyrics. So I printed them out using the color of the year, Serenity. And then I made some Gelli prints, which you saw in the other video, and if you didn't, it's linked below. And now I'm going to do some collage. So I'm starting out, I've got all these prints on deli paper, which makes them nice and translucent and easy to apply. And this is the one that I scribbled flowers all over it with my doodle sticks. And I decided that, hey, that looks like kind of like wallpaper. So I'm going to wallpaper my little walls here of my drawing of a window because the lyrics are about flowers in the window. This all kind of came together really easily. I was listening to music, and then I thought, the blue looks like bottles, like those tinted bottles that you might have on your windowsill with like little maybe some plants that you're trying to root. We always had those, only usually they were just pickle jars or something like that. You fill the glass jar with water, and then you put some little sprig of plant in it, and it roots, and then you plant it. So I always had these on my windowsill when I was a child. My mom was constantly growing things. So that's what I was thinking of with the blue. And then I was listening to the song, and then it just all came together. So I'm starting out here with my wallpaper. I think it's flocked wallpaper. Pink with white flocking. That was a thing back in the 70s or something. Fuzzy wallpaper. Some of you might still have it. Then I decided I needed to have my, this is probably going to be a window seat. It has a bench, and I wanted it to be brown, so I went looking for some brown paper. And this paper is overspray from another project that I did. There's another video for Canvas Corp brands. And this is the Cardboard Color Plain Jane Baseboards ink spray from Tattered Angels, which was sprayed on my underpaper, and it was nice and brown, so I decided to use it. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am drawing out some little bottles in different shapes on my different patterns, and some of them kind of look to me like milk glass. That you'd have a vase and it would be kind of bumpy, and it kind of looks to me like that. And then some of them just, I don't know, there's just different patterns that I was messing around with my doodle sticks on my Gelli plate. And I'm just drawing some little bottles in different shapes, cutting them out. And those are going to be my focal point on my journal page because flowers in the window, that's why. So I cut out, I think to begin with, 6 of them in all the different color or the different prints, and you can see them all sitting there, and then I'm putting them on my page, giving them an audition. I like that. I think that looks really cool. So I decided to stick them down. Now I still don't have my favorite glue. Oh, I know. I'm not sticking them down yet. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to make the windows in the background with this same leftover paper. And I thought to myself that I was going to cut little squares and lay them in there. But then I figured out that's dumb. I can put the whole window in at once and then put in the little dividers, which at this point I had planned to make out of paper. Sorry. So I glue this down, And then that just really, it looks like window pane. It actually looks like kind of frosty window pane. Not sure which one this is. Oh, I think this is the one where I just scribbled like scribble writing with my doodle sticks, if you watch the other video. I just scribbled on it. I think that's what paper this is. And then maybe the lace print at the top, I'm not sure. It was close enough. Wasn't quite long enough. So I had to add a little bit of extra. And yeah, it looks like windows. So I was happy with that. Having a little bit of trouble with glue. I was using my perfect paper adhesive, and I don't think that the liquid adhesive was working properly because this is deli paper, so it's slightly waxed. So I ended up using my golden medium gel to stick most of this down. Well, I used them both. I'm trying to use up all my different types of mediums that I have in the studio before I go buy the one I actually like, which is the Liquitex Liquid Matte Medium. That's my favorite one, and I'm out of it. But I have all these other ones, so I figured I'd better use them. And of course, it always makes a difference if it's thicker or thinner, depending on the paper, what you use with the mediums. So I thought that my jars might be too translucent because I'm putting them over the same colors. So I went ahead and sponged the back of them with some white gesso. And I'm letting those dry. And then I decided rather than putting more paper on for all these little strips around the window, I'll just paint it. So this is Burnt Sienna Deco Arts Liquid Acrylics from their mixed media line, which I just love these paints. They're highly, highly pigmented, and they're easy to use because they're already liquid. So I'm painting that on with the small flat brush, and that makes it so much easier than cutting all the little strips. So I think that looks pretty good. It looks kind of shiny right now, but it does flatten out a bit, although this paint is actually shiny. So I'm just adding a little bit of iron oxide as well, I think, or no, yellow oxide, just to give it a little bit more color. And then I have some dark brown medium weight acrylic. I figure the jars need to have a little bit of a shadow because the sun would be shining through that window. Even if it's an icy window, there's still light coming in. So I put a little bit of dark acrylic on there. And then I give that a really good dry. I dried it and dried it and dried it and dried it. But I didn't make you watch that because that would be boring. Now I'm going to put my jars on. I'm using the perfect paper adhesive again to do this, which is a liquid adhesive instead of the thicker gel. And I'm trying to decide which ones will look best. I think the pink ones should be in front of the window because it's blue, and the bluer ones should be in front of the wallpaper because it's pink, if you know what I mean. So I'm putting all these on. Sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble with my throat. It's making me sound very scratchy, and I keep clearing it. I'm trying to do my best here. I sound like I'm a frog or something. Croak, croak. And then right now I'm just cutting out some little round circle type shapes from this piece of scrap that's left over from the wallpaper. And then I end up cutting a little bowl type of a container out of it because I thought I needed a couple more. And then I grabbed a blue scrap and cut like a long narrow vase shape out of it. Not as tall as the other ones, but just some added stuff to come in the foreground because everything seemed kind of all in one level. So once those are on, then I'm going to get my scrap boxes. You know, if you've watched my videos that I have plastic boxes sorted scraps. And I get out my pinks and my greens. And then I'm going to just cut little strips of paper for stems. Now I figure these are translucent vases, like you can see through them. So the stems are going to go all the way into the vase. See through, you know. And I'm just checking them out. And then I decide they're all straight. This doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't all be straight. So then I start to cut some curved ones as well, which makes more sense. This video is sped up to, I believe, in 4 times speed. I took the jelly printing out at the front and put it in a different video, and then I speeded this up 4 times. This project took about 2 hours, including the jelly printing part. Just to give you an idea, I don't move this fast. Sometimes I wished I did. I would get a lot more done. Just zoom around the house getting things done. It would be great. So now I'm putting these on, and I'm again using the perfect paper adhesive. I have such a hard time saying that. I want to say purple picker upper or something. Because I'm crazy, that's why. So I've almost got all my little stems. I end up cutting out a couple different little leaf shapes, but not too many. Just a few. If you saw that frog, that was sent to me by Ann Williamson. It's her little froggy. He's going to get put on something someday. I just haven't made anything froggy. That's why he's in the box, waiting to be glued to something. So then I've got my pink scraps, and I'm just going to use different varied ones, and I'm just tearing these. I'm not even going to try cutting them out. I'm just tearing. That one kind of looks like a calla lily, although those are white, not pink. But so I have all different types of pink in here. There's, you know, reddish pink and bluish pink, and there's even, I think, a little bit of orange. Yeah, that's a sprayed paper towel. Decided to put a little bit of that on there. But I'm trying to stick with the, you know, the same pink and blue type of situation with the colors of the year, and or if you prefer, Serenity and Rose Quartz. So these are just like little accents. And of course the brown is an accent because there has to be something for it to sit on. This is when I cut out a couple little tiny leaves, just to add a little bit of interest to a couple things. Collage is probably my very favorite thing. I've made huge pieces on canvas of what I call paper paintings, which everything is just torn paper. There's no anything on there. It's, you know, painted papers and jelly printed papers and text and whatever, and I create entire images out of just paper. But there's no way I could make a video of that as it is. This one's 20 minutes long, which is by YouTube standards long, although all my videos seem to come out between 20 and 30 minutes because I can't fit everything in no matter how fast I speed. So I guess it's just going to have to be like that. But I probably will never do a paper painting just because it takes way too long. Can't show it without cutting a bunch of stuff out. So now I've got my song lyrics here, and I'm going to put those down. Still using the purple picker-upper glue. Perfect paper adhesive. And you've probably figured out, but I do put that underneath and over and on top to make sure everything is really sealed in. That's a thin paper from my inkjet printer. Okay, now for the detailing. This is where everything starts to really come together, because in the video you have a hard time seeing the details until I put the details in with the black marker or some other color. This is a fine tip Posca black paint pen. It's an acrylic paint in a pen form, which I really love. And I can doodle with this thing all day long. It writes over everything. So I'm drawing in the little jars. I'm sorry about my voice. I know I sound terrible. And putting in, just stuff everywhere. Drawing a line along each edge of the window frame. Stuff does take time, but it's well worth it. And one little tip, I'm cleaning off my ruler as I use it each time before I lay it down on the next section. I'm cleaning it off on that baby wipe, because if you don't, then you're going to get a black smear of stuff on your page because it's on the ruler and it hasn't dried yet. So that has happened to me. That's why I'm telling you about that. Now I've got out some Pitt artist brush pens. These are India ink in a brush form, and I'm using those to add some details to my stems and flowers. I can't decide what color I want, and I keep getting out different ones. This set has a lot of colors. So do I want it to be darker? Do I want it to be lighter? I don't know. I put one away, I get another one out. You'll see me doing it. I'm also going to use these on my flowers as well, but I think it's after I do the white highlights. I'm not sure. I think so, though. This is turning this into an illustration because I just can't seem to stop drawing lines around things. So I guess I'm an illustrator. I don't know. Like to draw lines around things. It relaxes me. Putting in some highlight details on my flowers and around the edges of everything. It really makes the bottles seem like they're more translucent once I put the white in. I think. Okay, I think we're almost done. I'm sorry. Be sure that you go and check out other people's videos. Hashtag Color of the Year Art. And also, if you're interested in how I made the jelly prints that I used on this collage, there's another video. Video 1, video 2. This is video 2. And I will put the link down below in the description box so that you can see it. My final touch is to use a blue pen to go around the little lyric lines just to make them stand out. And then I put on my date and I'm done. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye.